Hi, everybody. This is Nicole from College Bridge back again. Give you some good info and hopefully answer some questions you may have about your upcoming college orientation and getting ready to register for your first semester of college classes. Okay, so very quickly, we have a very short agenda, but a lot of good info. I'm going to cover two things here. First is going to be your college student portal, and then second is going to be beginning to plan your fall 2020 class schedule. Okay, so we're just going to jump right on in. Your college student portal. All right, now you should be very familiar with this by now because you probably learned of your admission decisions through all the various student logins and portals you had to utilize during the application process. So you should very much now be aware of how to log in to your college student portal at the college you are going to attend. And hopefully you've played around with that a little bit. If not, do so. You know, they're going to look different whether you're logging in on the computer or on your phone. These are just a couple of screenshots. You know, I think you guys know what I'm talking about, your student portal. All right, but now that you have committed to one particular college, your student portal now is going to have a lot more in it. And I want to make sure that you are aware of everything that's here, because pretty much anything that you're going to need to get started with college, you can find it through your student portal. So a lot of students, when they have questions about different things, and we're going to go over some of those questions, you know, they try to like go through the whole college website and figure out how to get in or get a question answered. And honestly, if you're looking for something, log into your portal and you probably will find it right there. So this is a screenshot from San Francisco State. And most of the Cal State portals look like this. They use I think they all use the same template. But anyway, you're going to go in, and this one has some things highlighted just because it was part of the screenshot that I found. But if you take a look, you're going to see, you know, everything's there. You just have to take the time to read it. There's things in here about how to enroll. They're looking at, you know, view your financial aid. You can even register to vote. If you look way over here, right on the right hand side, you can register to vote right there. So anyway, we're going to jump in and take a look at some of the things you should definitely be looking for and taking care of in your student portal right now, okay? Because you've committed, you're ready to go, and there are some things that you need to be on top of and make sure you don't miss any deadlines. Okay, so these are the things that we want to make sure that you are looking for. Financial aid, new student orientation, your status of your math and English placement for college, your housing, if that's applicable for you, and any holds on your account. All right, so financial aid. Okay, a lot of students aren't really aware that you actually have to say, yes, I want my financial aid. You have to go in and accept it. So again, if you're going to a Cal State University, your financial aid page through your portal is probably going to look like this. And what they have listed on the left are all of your different awards that you have received. So it's going to have, you know, your Cal grants, your Pell grants, your student loans, any campus scholarships, everything is there. And so I want to explain what the different categories are here. All right, so the first one is going to be the title of the award. This category here is really important because anything that says grant or scholarship, that's the free money. So you want to make sure you're getting all of your free money. Anything that says loan, okay, or might say work study or something else, you know, then that is money that you either have to pay back or you have to work for. All right. This career thing in the middle, I don't know what that is. Skip that. But then it has how much you're receiving. All right. And then how much you've accepted. All right. And you can see that in the accepted column, a lot of colleges will help you out and they will default to accept any of your grants or scholarships. That's really helpful because, like I said, a lot of students don't know they have to do this and they forget. And so the colleges are, you know, some are good at it, some are not, but make sure that you have accepted, that little box is checked for any grants or any scholarships. Okay, make sure you do that. Now, for some reason, if some reason you don't want your Pell Grant, you can click decline and change it. I do not recommend that. Okay, make sure you're getting your grants. But again, you just want to make sure that that's clear. Now you see the boxes on this particular example, the ones that have not been checked at all are the loans. Okay, so what's interesting here is that they allow you to change the amount of the loan that you want if you are going to take a loan. So just because you are offered, in this example, $3,500, you don't have to take that full amount. Maybe you only want to take out $500, or $1,000. So you need to think about your budgeting and all of that, and see if you want to make any changes to your student loan amount. The reason why the top one doesn't let you change the amount, but then this other example here, the $3,500 one, does let you change the amount, is because if you go back to the left-hand category, you'll see there are two different types of loans. Unsubsidized, where it says unsub, and then sub or subsidized. Okay, so you want to make sure that you are educated on the different types of loans. I'm not going to get into it right now. It's something that you can research later or shoot me an email if you really have questions. But again, there's different types of loans, there's different types of grants, there's different types of scholarships, but you want to make sure that you are accepting. That's the big thing. So what happens if you don't do this, right? This happens a lot. Students forget and they don't go in and accept. And then what ends up happening is like 3 weeks into the semester, you get an email from your college that says you're going to be disenrolled from all of your classes because you did not pay your bill. And then you're confused. You're like, wait, I have all these grants and loans, and wait, what do you mean I haven't paid my bill? It's because you never accepted your aid, and so all of that money never went into your student account. Okay, so if you've already SIR'd, if your financial aid award is there in your portal, do this today. This is super, super, super important. Now, some of you may not have this information available yet, or maybe only part of it. Maybe your loans are there, but not your grants, or whatever. So just keep checking back. Colleges are still processing financial aid. And then especially if you have filed an appeal, because of our situation we're in right now. I know a lot of you had changes in your family finances, and maybe you're going through an appeal right now. Keep checking back. All right. So this is super important. You don't want any financial issues. So go in and accept your financial aid. Okay. The next thing is new student orientation. Now, how you find out about new student orientation is really going to vary by school. Some of you may be able to access, or only be able to access, your information through your portal. Other schools are going to send out emails. It really varies. So whenever you see anything about your student orientation, read it. Make sure you register. Some colleges absolutely require you attend orientation. I have actually had students in the SLAM program get their admission canceled over the summer because they never went to new student orientation. All right, so don't do that. Make sure you sign up. Now, it's highly, highly likely that this year, this summer, orientation is going to be online. A lot of community colleges have already been doing orientation online for a few years now. So if you're going to community college, highly likely. If you're going to a Cal State, highly likely. So just be aware. Make sure that you are following all the directions. This is just an example, all right, from another college. It says click here to access online orientation. But you want to make sure that you are aware of when your orientation is. Most colleges offer multiple dates of when you can attend. So you will probably have some choices as to when you want to do this. We're going to come back to orientation later on in this presentation. But again, I want to make sure that this is something you have to do. This is not automatic. Some schools charge for orientation. All right. I'm sure you're probably learning by now that you can't get a fee waiver for everything when you go to college. Your days of fee waivers are almost gone. So a lot of colleges do charge. So if you need financial aid money to cover that, you need to talk to your college. But again, new student orientation should be definitely on your to-do list. All right, next is the status of your math and English placement. So colleges go through a lot of different steps to determine if you are ready to go into college level math and English. All right, so this is an example of how this works at a Cal State. All right, and this is actually going to work for most of you at really any college you go to, whether it's a Cal State, community college, private school. But since all of you are in this dual enrollment class with SLAM, if you have passed your SLAM class, whether it be statistics or pre-calculus or whatever class it was, you are actually going to be in this orange category of fulfilled requirement. All right. You not only are math college ready, you actually are done. All right. You've completed. So you're going to actually fall into this college transfer coursework option here by the orange arrow. So for math, again, if you've passed SLAM, you're good. You just have to make sure you send that transcript, and we've already sent out information about that. But I want you to be aware of this happening also on the English side of things. So make sure that you are asking questions, looking for information about how you are going to be placed in college level English. And again, this is going to have an impact on you registering for your first semester of classes. So hopefully for the most of you, you're good to go with math and no worries. Just again, send that transcript. Very, very important. If you haven't done it yet, that should be number 2 on your list of things to do today, okay? Number 1 is accept your financial aid. Number 2 is to send your transcript. Okay, next is housing. Now, I know this is not for everybody, but for some of you, you are, planning on going to a campus out of town. And I know that this is a really big question. I have a lot of students and counselors asking me like, oh my gosh, what do I do about housing? Right now, I highly, highly, highly recommend that if your original plan before all this happened, you got admitted to San Diego State or UC Davis or, wherever, and you were planning on living on campus, still follow through with those plans, all right? They can always be changed. And if for some reason the college residence halls are not open in the fall, they'll work with you to get you any refund or, all of that. But it's better to confirm your housing than not, because if it ends up that for some weird reason, everything is back to normal and you're able to move on campus, you want to make sure your room is secure. So what you want to do is, if this applies to you, is start looking at all of your options. So these are some floor plans. These are actually from UC Davis. So they have options for you. You can have a room. This one here on the left is more traditional. It's 2 people in 1 room. They have another option where you actually have 3 or sometimes 4 people in 1 room, or you may want your very own room, all right, with only 1 person. So you want to make sure you're reviewing all those options, reading all those emails, responding by deadlines. Again, applying for housing is a completely separate process. It's not automatic. You usually have to fill out a whole nother application. You have to put a deposit. If you're going to be in a shared room, you have to go through the whole roommate matching situation, all of that. So definitely move forward if those were your original plans, all right? Or, if it's something that's on your, your list of things that you need to be thinking about, confirm your on-campus housing. So I also wanted to kind of show you just for fun. These are the floor plans, right? It looks all nice and pretty. I wanted to show you kind of more realistic of what these things look like. So the ones on the bottom that are just empty rooms, this is what you're gonna get when you move into a residence hall. This is an example of an empty 2-person and 3-person room. They're not all that fancy. Now you can do some really cool stuff in residence hall rooms. If you go on Pinterest or something, you can find people who really go at it with the decor. But the top are more realistic looking. you know, what your rooms will probably look like when you get in and meet your roommate and start decorating. So it can be really fun. So I just don't want you to miss out on this if this is something that you were hoping to do. Okay, and then finally, the last thing I want to make sure you're checking in your portal are any holds that you might have on your account. So there's usually a section that has holds and alerts. Right now, really the only holds that might be there are these types of things that are on the screen that talk about immunizations. So I know that's in the fine print of everything that you're going through, but again, if you have a hold on your account, you won't be able to register. All right, you won't be able to take your classes. So you want to make sure that that holds box is empty. Now, moving forward with your college career, you can have holds for a lot of things. Non-payment, all right, of your bill. You can have fees due at the campus library. I mean, you can have all kinds of weird things on your hold list. But for right now, because part of starting college, one of the things on your checklist is to submit a copy of your immunizations. So actually, probably a lot of you may actually have this hold on your account right now. So go in and clear it up, all right? Make sure you get those medical records sent in so that you can register for your classes. And that takes us to, all right, this next section of the presentation. All right, so what I want to do with this next section is talk about preparing to pick your class schedule. When you go to orientation or when you have it online, they're going to throw a lot of information at you all at once. And one of the things that usually happens during orientation is like right then and there, they ask you to register for your classes for the fall. And it can be very stressful and very overwhelming. So the point of these next few minutes of discussion are to bring up some things that you need to start thinking about and being honest with yourself about, you know, how you're going to plan your classes for next semester. So let's just get into some of these situations. Okay, so things to consider. So we have personal obligations. We also have some personal choice issues. So let's start with the obligations, or what can be some challenges to building a class schedule. You may have family responsibilities. You may have to, you know, think about, you know, your parents are working, so you still are taking care of siblings, or whatever. You may have an ill mom or dad at home, but be honest with yourself is how much time, not only how much time, but like when are you expected to take care of the family? Does your parents need you to get everybody up in the morning? Are you responsible for driving people to work? You know, what's going on there? Are you working? Are you going to have a job? You know, how is that going to limit your availability to take classes? Transportation and traffic. This one, we don't really know, you know, what's going to happen with people being on campus next year. But if you are planning on being a commuter student, you know, if you live in LA County, you know, the college, as you very well know, the college may only be a few miles away from home, but it can take you an hour to get there. All right, so think about that. And then thinking more on the, well, what if we're at home still and online? You know, what does your study space look like? You know, you're just finishing up your, you know, high school classes, and how has it been to study at home? All right, because you're going to be doing more of that next semester. The other column here has some things to think about for personal choice. Okay, so the good thing is with college is you get to make your schedule. You're about, I'd say about 85% in charge of making your schedule, okay? You don't have to go to class every day unless the class requires you. But most classes, you're either gonna go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, or one night a week, or maybe on Saturday. You know, so when you're looking at the class schedule, you're going to see all of those options. All right. So you need to think about it. You know, you're used to going to school every day. Well, these last few months, I know have been different, but you know, in normal circumstances, you're used to getting up, you're at school every day, you're there from 8 to 3 or whatever your schedule is. You can mix that up now. You also can take advantage of what, you know, time frame is best for you. Are you a morning or a night person? You don't have to take 8 o'clock classes. You can start your day at 10 or 12 or 2 or even 7 o'clock at night. If you're a night person, you could take classes. You could take classes 4 nights a week and have absolutely no classes during the day. So there's a lot of freedom there. There's a lot, and again, when you look back at your left-hand side of personal obligations, some of you may need to do things like that. Like you may be working all day, so you have to take classes at night. Okay. The next is you want to follow your 4-year plan. We talked about that in the previous lesson, but really take the time to explore your options. All right. When you are looking at, especially general education classes, it will say something like, take one of the following, and you may have 25 or 50 choices, right? Don't just take something that, you know, is the first class listed. Spend some time really going through your 4-year plan options. Because there are some really cool classes in there. You don't have to take, you know, US history again. You could take something that's much more specialized or more interesting to you that's still within the history category. You know, so really spend some time looking over all of that. And then finally, we really want to be aware that it's, again, highly likely that for fall 2020, your classes are going to be online. So again, you want to follow your 4-year plan, but be realistic. All right. You know, if your 4-year plan says you should be taking physics, you know, your first semester, is that really a class you want to take online? You know, or maybe it's a language arts class, like maybe it's a literature class. Maybe you would much rather save that so that you can have an in-person class for that experience. So again, follow your 4-year plan, but you know, you want to really kind of throw into all of these factors, these variables that are making this a unique situation, and think about what classes you will be able to actually be successful with if they are online. All right, so just think about that. It's going to be a different situation for every person. But I wanted to just throw that out there because that's, again, likely to be the situation. The Cal States actually just announced yesterday that it looks like at all of the Cal State campuses, pretty much every class is going to be online except for the classes that cannot, like labs. Like if you need to do a chemistry lab, your lecture will be online, but then you'd have to go to campus just for the lab. So just really be aware of that. I know you guys have been kind of, you know, in and out of online learning with these last couple of months of high school, but it looks like your first semester of college is going to be online. So make sure you're choosing your classes well. All right. Really think that through and be honest with yourself of what you can and cannot do online, or what you want and do not want to do online. All right. You have a personal choices here. Okay. So of course I have a little homework assignment for you. So what I want you guys to do is bring up that 4-year plan. All right. That we talked about in the last lesson. And now find your fall 2020 class schedule. All right. This should be pretty easy for you to find. Again, just Google it. All right. Name of your college and fall 2020 class schedule. And start looking at your options, looking things up, seeing when those classes are offered. Are they only offered on Tuesday, Thursday? Are they only on Wednesday night? You know, what are your options there? And start putting together your schedule. Okay. Now this can take some time. I have some students who just do this really fast. They'll just look at it and boom, boom, boom. In like less than 30 minutes, they have a schedule together. Some of you may take a few days or a couple weeks to think about this and figure it out. That's fine. What I have provided for you, I've given it to your teachers and we'll be emailing it out to you directly as well, is a template for you to utilize to put your schedule together so that you can put in not only your classes, but you can put in all those other obligations as well. Like if you know you're going to be working, you know, every morning, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You can block that out for work and then schedule your classes around it. But really take the time to put this together again so that you are better prepared for your college orientation. So the schedule you put together for this, this project, this activity may end up being your final schedule or it may not. All right. But again, if you go through the process now, it's going to make your orientation a much better experience. And again, you have a lot to think about. You really, especially like I said, with this whole online situation, a little bit more to think about than normal. So on the template that I'm going to be sending you, it's an Excel file. And right at the top, I have my email. So when you have this done, your rough draft, it can be your rough draft, it doesn't have to be the final schedule. But just, if you can just email it to me, I want to see that everybody is, understanding how to build a schedule. So just email that to me when you have it done or ready. I'll be following up with you. And like I said, my email address is right on the document. So when you get it, when you open it, you'll see it there. Okay, and that's it. As always, if you have questions, please email me. A lot of you have been reaching out with questions about how to order your transcripts and all of that. So that's great. Keep those questions coming. And that's it for today. So I will see you all next time.